Hello team and welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Piss. It's Ukraine War News. No, it's not. It's a Ukraine War Update Extra video, giving you some random bits and pieces from here and there. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I might have to do with my channel just going forward for the short term. As you can see, loads of my video, loads of, just look at all of these videos. This is all demonetized videos, a couple from yesterday that got through, and then there's something to change, and then overnight they're just everything to the point where there's a nursery rhyme that I have released, and that is demonetized. You know, I've literally recorded myself doing a nursery rhyme, which is pretty interesting. Let's listen to me say Humpty Dumpty. Hello team and welcome, or indeed YouTube. So Humpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king. Anyway, they demonetized that because they don't like the nursery rhymes. So what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm not going to whinge about this too much more, but just Google YouTube feedback. Just go and put something in to them if you've got time and the wherewithal and the desires. Just to say something like, there's nothing wrong with the content. He's even done a nursery rhyme video and that's been demonetized and restricted. So there must be something that is in the channel that is restricting everything automatically, and it's really harming the channel. And interestingly, I'm now going to point you to my other channel, A Tippling Philosopher. So if you search for A Tippling Philosopher, that's what ATP and ATP Geopolitics stands for, you'll find my original philosophical channel. I have uploaded one of the videos that was restricted yesterday from me being able to post it, one of these ones, just that ATACMS one there, restricted. I've just uploaded it to YouTube here, and team, this is, it is not restricted. It unfortunately, not unfortunately, you don't see the advert there because I've already played through it, but it's not restricted, so that is fine. So you can go and watch one on ATACMS there. It's just a test one. I might post some more videos onto my A Tippling Philosopher, maybe once a day, maybe do my extra until things get sorted out. Go and check that out. You can subscribe to ATP, A Tippling Philosopher, but you might get a bunch of stuff that you're not so interested in terms of, oh my goodness, he's talking about the philosophy of religion or whatever, stuff like that, where you'd be like, yeah, no. But yeah, some feedback, check that one out. And then now I'm going to play you my piece on snipers and part of a cartoon that Ukrainians have trolled the Russians with, that was due to be released with that this ATACMS snippet here. It's supposed to be all together in a single video yesterday, but it didn't. It's all like caught here. Anyway, I'm just going to go for it. Over to me. Just a bit of, I guess, housekeeping. JR, who's helping me with the mapping, he's going to hold my hand as we romp through the fields of progress in terms of moving from Google Earth to Google Maps, which means that we can then import. I don't understand any of this. Thanks, JR. We should be able to import bits of open source data like the trench networks that other people have done. So we don't have to draw out individually trench lines. We can just import a whole data set and put it into maps rather than Google Earth. So hopefully over the next week, you'll see more data and the maps will be more useful. It's not going to be like, because I was wondering, I could just use Andrew Perpetua's map and say, look, here's what Andrew Perpetua says, and it's got all the points on there of interest, and it would be really useful. And I do dip into his mapping, but I also like having other, my own kind of data points on there, which is deep state maps lines and Suriyat maps lines, to give a nice view of what different people are saying, not just relying solely on one mapper. And so I really do like having that. So I will maintain this map with the help of JR. Thank you, matey. And we'll see how we go from there. So let's go on to start with snipers. Right. Yuri Chonomorets was a chap who featured in a Euromaidan article about snipers that I talked about at length over a couple of episodes. Really, really good article. And he was this theologian that became, I think he had experience of being a sniper. I don't know whether he did any sniping in this war or has just become an advocate for sniping for fundraising as well. He's a big fundraiser for equipment for snipers. Really interesting. I wanted to interview him through someone else who follows the channel, putting me in touch with him, but he's not confident in speaking English well enough, and that would mean having a translator, and it just becomes a bit, the flow goes when you have to wait for a translation. So anyway, he's an interesting guy to follow. Please check him out on Twitter. So Yuri Chornomorets. He does all this great work for the snipers. But this is not a fundraising bit. This is interesting views on his experience of helping snipers. So 1, it is necessary to create a sniper reconnaissance platoon in each battalion and a company in the brigade. Such a platoon should have a core of 6 to 8 snipers. This is kind of going back to a lot of what was discussed in that article, which is that actually snipers are a really integral part of any brigade, and they do an awful lot of work. And a large proportion of what they did, what was it? I think he's split into like 4 quarters. It's something like 25% of being a sniper is concealing yourself. 25% is like doing the shooting. 25% is extracting yourself after doing the shooting. These are all like really difficult, all really important skills. So you need to disguise yourself so you cannot be seen, and you might be there for a long time, and unbeknownst to the people you're looking at, you are doing your reconnaissance. We'll come on to that as well. There for some time, unmoving, and then you're doing the shots, and then you're getting out there straight away because they know where you are, broadly speaking. And that getting out of there is really dangerous, and you need to know how to extract yourself from doing the sniping as carefully as you put yourself in there. So that's 25%, 25%, 25%. And if I remember correctly, 25% of your skill set is doing reconnaissance. So actually, you can be a sniper and be an excellent sniper without really firing. It's about communicating what you're looking at back to you can end up being a spotter for maybe drone attacks or missile strikes and so on and so forth. So it's really important. That's why it says sniper reconnaissance platoon. It's not just about being a sniper. You are important as someone doing reconnaissance. Number 2, with Barrett's 50 BMG, 2 with Cadex 375 JTEC, 6 with Rugers and Savages in 338 caliber. So that is, if you know your guns. I don't know my sniper rifles. So out of 10 snipers, you've got 2 with that type of gun, 2 with that type of gun, and 6 with that type of gun. So you've got a range of capabilities with your snipers, depending on what targeting you need to do and what job you need having done. Some of these are, you might need someone who's much more proficient in really long distance shooting, and you'll need a different kind of gun. And then if you want to take out a vehicle with a sniper rifle using different calibers and munitions, then that might take a different skill set. The idea of such sniper groups and their tactics were developed in detail in the Instruction of 2021, Instruction on the Use of Snipers in Operations of the Combined Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. This group of snipers should have several student snipers, marksman level, with a 308 caliber ARs or stags, with day and thermal scopes, preferably 8 people. The group is accompanied by at least 2 drone operators with a set of drones, 4 machine gunners, snipers, grenade launchers, and sappers. Such groups have shown their effectiveness as rescue teams during the defense, as capable of performing difficult tasks in the rear of the enemy, and as an excellent means of ensuring the success of the offensive, especially in the first days of the breakthrough. Snipers are bloody useful, right? Number 2. All snipers and marksmen must pass the SVD and receive adequate weapons. SVD have exhausted their resource and can be used if desired by regular infantry. The cancellation of SVD will show a real shortage of sniper weapons. Now, I think the English is a bit funky here. So, how I understand this, so the SVD, as far as I can work out, are older sniper rifles, Soviet era sniper rifles. And what I think this means is all snipers and marksmen must pass the SVD and receive adequate weapons. In other words, they need to go past using that and have better sniper weapons than that. SVD have exhausted their resource. In other words, as a resource, they can be used by regular infantry, but if you're going to use them, it means you have got a real shortage of sniper weapons. I think that's what that point means. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, number 3, the training of new snipers should end with their assignment to groups led by experienced snipers. Any use of juices or larger formations without an experienced corps is doomed. So don't send like 2 inexperienced snipers off. They're going to get done in, no matter how advanced the course is. Number 4, all 14 by 50 BMG rifle scopes must be replaced with adequate scopes. For example, a Mark V Leopold 35X, 35 times. Also, Delta scope, even for 30 times, should be adjusted to 308 caliber, and for 50 BMG, there should be sights with normal quality optics. Okay, a lot of jargon there, but essentially, the scopes are really important, and these things can range from thousands of dollars to over $10,000 plus for the scopes. I mean, these are seriously high-tech things, and when you're going into that kind of precision, then it's a bit like kind of reminds me of cycling. So when this is a really weird analogy, just popped into my head. When the British won loads, the Olympic team won loads of cycling gold medals, they were dealing in like milliseconds, and to shave off, it's like exponential. Like you had to put more and more effort into getting smaller and smaller rewards. I don't know if that's which way around that curve will go, but the idea is that to shave off a millisecond, you have to spend loads of money on training, on making sure the bike, every molecule of the bike's in position, that the athlete is absolutely finely tuned, the aerodynamics, the research into the helmets, into what you're wearing, into your physique, into your what you're eating, your diet, everything. All of that needs to be perfectly in place. And once that's all perfectly in place, and you put all that time and effort, money into that, then you will shave off a couple of milliseconds. And that's the difference between getting a silver and a gold. And so that's what the British cycling did, all that, and then that was followed around the world by lots of people. So, but the point is there that if the difference between being a gold medal sniper and someone who's half decent is going to be, you need to put a lot of effort into the scopes. That's a lot of money spent on that, which have this amount of difference. But that amount of difference can make or break a mission. And of course, being better yourself as a sniper, as an individual in, guising, reconnaissance, all these aspects that I've talked about, you put all that effort in, and it shaves off whatever to your performance, or adds on whatever to your performance. And that's the difference between a successful sniper and a really successful mission. I've probably gone off on one. I don't know if that works. So all snipers must be equipped with ponchos to protect against thermal imaging scopes. The GUI has them. Everyone should have them. Snipers should be provided with cars at the rate of 1 car for 2 snipers. Okay, so that's point number 6. Point number 7, by itself, strengthening snipers will not lead to a change in the situation at the front. It must be understood that a sniper has great effectiveness in hitting the enemy, and there must be many snipers. But if a marksman should be in every department, then this should be accompanied by an increase in the number of machine guns. Namely, even in the Second World War, the unit fought effectively if it relied on a machine gun. At the NGU, we have 2 machine guns per company, and there should be at least 14, preferably more. There should be 4 to 6 machine guns per platoon. The marksman covers the machine gunner, and the machine gunner covers the marksman. This is what we hear about, how all components are really necessary, because it's a bit like with infantry, combined arms maneuvers. So an infantry fighting vehicle or a tank will take out these elements that are likely to take out the infantry, and the infantry take out these elements that are likely to take out the tank. So the infantry can sight 80 GM teams in a trench line over there and take them out, whilst the tank is taking something else out that's going to take out the infantry. And so you've got this symbiotic relationship where it's really important to have multiple elements. I'm no military expert. I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head here, but this is how I understand it all. So the marksman covers the machine gunner and the machine gunner covers the marksman. During assault operations, all groups must have Belgian mini machine guns. A study of the situation with the example of the 67th Brigade showed that when, in addition to all the usual methods of cover, the assault group is covered by a mini machine gun, that constantly pile up, losses are 4 to 5 times smaller. The experience of the 3rd Assault Division shows the same. There should also be 20 to 100 times more drones. A lot of this is like evidence-based policy making, right? This is kind of what I love in politics and society, and the use of science and use of data to inform better performance. What's the evidence we have? What's the best setup of platoons that we have? Well, let's look at the evidence. So how have we performed using this kind of setup, using that kind of setup? Even without the F-16, we can very quickly achieve victory, he says. If all this is not done from below, we will never win the war, even if we have 1,000 Leopards and Abrams. The infantry should feel fundamentally better protected by drones, machine guns, and snipers. Now the quality of the infantryman is low, but if his calling is to help machine gunners, drone operators, and snipers, they'll be able to act effectively. The attempt to make stormtroopers out of the main infantry has already failed. No one looks in the textbook of German tactics of the Second World War how everything relied on machine guns at the division level, on mortars at the platoon level. We need to fill the machine guns and mortars. We need to fill it with machine guns and mortars, add drones and snipers. All this will make it possible to have smaller losses and break the enemy, since the special assault units will be followed by real infantry. Right. It'd be interesting if any of my viewers have experience within infantry divisions yourselves, or I know a few of you have had experience of all sorts of different things in the armed forces. What do you think about all of this? Number 8, my special attention to the development of snipers is due to the fact that I am a sniper myself. If I wasn't a sniper, I'd be doing drones. It's critical. But apart from personal motives, I have simple calculation. The number of snipers that I helped is more than 300 people. 7 of them died. 8 of them were maimed. Sniper groups survive by themselves and rescue people, sometimes up to a battalion a day. In the article, he talks about how important snipers are and how they've literally saved the bacon of loads of people with the activities they've done. Snipers now attack the enemy's manpower at various distances. More than 10% of the enemy's losses are the result of their actions. So in that article, he talks about how, just generally, aside from a big counteroffensive push, 88% of fatal deaths, casualties, are caused by artillery. 10% is caused by snipers, and 2% other means. That's small arms fire. That's like face-to-face firing with the opposition is like less than 2%. Snipers are the second biggest killer, right? So, and that, although the percentage might change, it being in second position is always the case, it appears, that no matter what activity is taking place. The snipers are that important. They're hugely important. I said at the beginning of the war, you should stack Bakhmut with a whole bunch of snipers, and they should be hammering the Russians as they go through Bakhmut. Some people poo-pooed me that, it takes a lot of effort to train snipers. I don't care, train them. Yeah, you just can't make anyone a sniper. Yeah, sure, just get more snipers. Turns out that's exactly what happened, and snipers were really active in Bakhmut, and have been active on both sides, right across the front line. They are using them a lot. Anyway, at the same time, the cost of eliminating the enemy is 10 to 15 or even 50 times lower than when using other means of defeat. In other words, snipers cause the second amount of casualties, and I presume are not killed so much themselves, although it's dangerous. That ratio is really good. It's a really the return on investment for snipers, I think, is what he's saying here, is massive. When a certain section of the front is saturated with snipers, the enemy may start to panic. Exactly what I said about Bakhmut, which has happened more than once in our experience. If snipers were everywhere, the enemy's front would have crumbled. I really agree with this. Number 9, and I don't know, Jack. It is necessary to further simplify the importation of everything possible from abroad and provide maximum support because domestic production in this field is very small and not always of high quality. And number 10, the state will seriously get its hands on snipers after artillery, drones, machine guns, and electronic warfare. So it makes sense to do everything possible now. There is no point in waiting because everything we do saves the situation right now. So he says, I cannot provide for everyone, so I've adopted a strategy of providing for the best. This gives a maximum possible result. The best are constantly being selected and given weapons, optics, and cartridges. If necessary, training or professional development takes place. As a society, we often add to the general training and provision of snipers precisely those elements in the general mosaic that were sorely lacking in the normal functioning of sniper work. I urge everyone to support snipers as much as possible through our service because it is as effective as possible. And he gives the details of how to help. So, please go and help Yuri Chornomorets if that's your thing. I know some people don't like donating. I think a lot about how I donate to charity with regard to Ukraine. And sometimes I feel a bit uneasy about giving to overt methods of killing people. But then I have this argument in my head, well, yeah, it's great to give humanitarian aid, but this war needs to finish as soon as possible. And actually, the most kind of moral thing to do, arguably, is to give to charities that will help bring this war to as early a conclusion as you possibly can. And so, therefore, you get back to actually, the weapons make that much difference here. Drones and sniper rifles and sniper optics and so on. My goodness. Okay, so in the end, I just have these arguments in a circle and end up going, I don't know. But you give to who you think is the best use of your money. I mean, you be your own moral judge here. I can only say what I think, and here there is a really good argument to suggest giving to causes like Yuri's is really important. He knows what he's doing, and he knows the effect that this has to the outcome on the battlefield, and it's huge. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this bit of Ukrainian trolling. It is in Ukrainian, so I'm going to leave it playing for the jaunty music. It's a minute worth of them trolling the Russians about the use of tires as a defense for their planes, and it goes on to talk about it in lots of ways. So it is in Ukrainian. You can read the subtitles. I'm not going to read them to you, so I'll just let this play for a minute. It's just fabulous, great stuff.
Россия – самая технологичная страна в мире, ведь только здесь в полной мере смогли раскрыть невероятный потенциал покрышек. На основе уникальной резиновой технологии разработано антидроновое покрытие, способное отразить любую атаку беспилотников. А упругий резиновый панцирь на танке не способен пробить ни один вражеский снаряд. Система передвижения Sonic позволит быстро преодолеть самые сложные участки на поле боя. И даже если боец случайно влетит в водоем, активация резиновой спасательной капсулы решит эту проблему. Для пехоты же разработано 3 комплекта уникальной брони – легкой, средней и максимальной защиты. Эта резиновая кольчуга обладает невероятной прочностью и мобильностью и позволит выполнять самые сложные задачи без угрозы для своей жизни. Вступайте же в отряды резиновых задниц, самые защищенные войска России.
Absolutely brilliant. Love a bit of that. There you go. That's a little bit of amusement for you. Please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you for your kind well wishing on me old birthday today. Not that, whatever. But thank you. It's really generous. Thank you for all the members who are supporting the channel. And I'm going to give a personal shout out to individual people tomorrow in one of my videos. So thank you very much. Take care. Speak soon.